You are welcome to my YouTube channel. I am happy to have you watch this video. Today it is painful, not just to me but to every Nigerian, that every day we wake up to the reality that Nigeria had not just been named the poverty headquarters in the world, but in reality Nigeria is the poverty headquarters of the world. It is very, very unfortunate that with all the resources, human and material, that Nigeria has in abundance, we still suffer economic deficiency. Nigeria basically is supposed to be a very rich and well-to-do country, a country that is a model to, in fact, to all African countries. We shouldn't be talking of any other country in Africa without mentioning Nigeria first. But unfortunately, Nigeria has been relegated to the back seat. This is nothing but a reflection or a manifestation of bad leadership across board. Economically, politically, socially, all sphere we've got it wrong in terms of leadership. Now, do you realize that inflation is the key driver of poverty? Empirically and in common sense, this can be proven. Inflation is nothing but the persistent rise in prices of goods and services. Now you want to find out why or what causes inflation. Inflation is either initiated by excess demand or initiated by cost of production. But in the case of Nigeria, cost of production is the major cause of inflation in Nigeria. Cost of production implies that when the producer or the manufacturer spends more in producing or in manufacturing, then the ultimate burden of production will be transferred to the end user or to the final consumer of such goods and services. And that is what is happening in Nigeria. Now, why do we have a high cost of production in Nigeria? Majorly, it is because we lack or we have deficiency, magnificent deficiency in economic infrastructures. The infrastructures that we need for production, the infrastructure that the primary sector of the economy, which is the key driver of every economy world over, needs, we lack them in Nigeria. When you look at even transport, starting from transportation, you now look at electricity. Let me base on electricity for now. Basically, every manufacturer, every manufacturing plant in Nigeria, in fact across the world, uses power for manufacture and production. And in Nigeria, we cannot boast of a relatively stable electricity supply. This will now drive producers and manufacturers to going into fuel. They now use fuel to power their plants, they use fuel to power their businesses, they use fuel to run, even the transportation runs on fuel in Nigeria. Now, because of this, the cost of production increases because the price of fuel goes up in Nigeria. In fact, you can imagine that as at 2015, fuel sold for about 97 naira or 96 naira thereabout. But today, in 2021, we are buying fuel for 165 naira. Now, the manufacturer will not stop manufacturing. Will adjust his overhead into buying fuel at that rate, transfer the same cost to his production, and now that's what is in the market. Then the ultimate consumer bears the burden of the cost of production. Now that is how inflation is driven in Nigeria. I do not want to go into other variables that contribute to inflation, but now let's look at it from this perspective. Prices have gone up. Yes, that is right. Why is it that Nigeria has not been able to produce fuel within its borders? Over 4 decades, fuel, petroleum products and crude oil was found in Nigeria till today. And yet every year we spend billions of naira on subsidy. Subsidy that goes into a pocket of a very few corrupt Nigerians. Yet every year we spend billions of naira saying we are doing a turnaround maintenance on the dilapidated refineries that we have, yet those refineries cannot produce enough fuel to even power a state in Nigeria. Now, beyond that, we look at the exchange rate. These are still factors that influences inflation, the cost of production. Nigeria basically we rely more on import. We export almost nothing. We export very less, aside from petroleum products. And yet we import almost everything. Yes, now we need exchange forex to import, and yet when we are not exporting, it means we have to buy more of forex, thereby devaluing our own currency in order to bring in products. And when we bring in this product, the importers have to transfer the cost of importing on the goods, which are ultimately consumed, and the burden is borne by consumers. That would not be a major problem though. Now, we now go to look at the standard of living, the unemployment rate in Nigeria. Now look at the wages in Nigeria, the salary in Nigeria. You realize that even the minimum wage of 30,000 that had been passed by the National Assembly, a lot of states have not implemented it. Now imagine naira that was exchanging for about 115 naira thereabout in 2015, exchanging for about 500 naira now, and yet salaries remain the same. Value of currencies rather goes down, and yet these same people are expected to buy in the market. Then tell me, why won't Nigeria remain the poverty headquarters of the world in years to come? Yes, it is, because every year people are slipping into poverty. Every year the salary, the little money we used to have, is falling off in value. Every year the prices of goods are going up, and yet we cannot afford, because we cannot afford to have a decent life with a fixed income that is going to challenge an increasing price. We cannot afford a decent life with a fixed income that is now challenging a falling value of currency. We cannot afford to survive well in Nigeria when inflation is going rather very high. As of 2015, Nigeria had an inflation rate of 9.5%. To 2021, as I'm speaking right now, the inflation rate is about 17.7%. But what has changed in income? What has changed in the value of currency? Everything rather in terms of currency goes down. Everything in income goes down. Everything in revenue goes down. Insecurity came in and brought everything down. COVID-19 came in and frustrated businesses. COVID-19 came in and frustrated people out of businesses. And yet government did not in sincerity come up with sustainable palliative. I'm not talking about the biscuit and chewing gums that the so-called politicians hid in their houses and in their backyards for God knows reason. But government could not come up with sincere palliative, economic palliative, to raise people back to business. I am a victim of COVID-19 effects. My businesses went now. I had to sack 90% of my staff. I had to manage my business to stay afloat. Yes, these things happen. That COVID-19 is a natural event that happened. But yet a reasonable and responsible government would rise to these challenges to sustain its economy, to bring down inflation, so that people can live decently. I am saying this to trigger a debate. Is our government doing enough to pull us out of poverty? Is our government doing enough to change the narrative that Nigeria is a poverty headquarters of the world? First, government must tackle inflation. Inflation is a major driver of poverty across board. Empirical studies can prove this. Common sense can prove this. For me, I think even the data we work with in Nigeria, I can challenge them. A lot of them, 90% of them are faulty. You have data from CBN, you have data from the Bureau of Statistics and all that. Most of those data do not agree. So even when we are talking about having inflation at 17.7%, in the true sense of it, if you get into the market and do a research yourself, you realize that it is far higher than what we have today. So I would even advise that state government should establish effective Bureau of Statistics. Prices of goods in Kano cannot be the same in Akwa Ibom. Prices of goods in Lagos cannot be the same in Kaduna. Therefore, State Bureau of Statistics should step in, carry out effective research, come up with figures that represent the true situation in different states. Then let states now step in area where they can help to reduce inflation in their states. We should not rely on headline figures. Let states come up with their own bureau of statistics that are effective, so that if we fight inflation, if our government can fight inflation, poverty will be fought effectively, because poverty is a major driven majorly by inflation coupled with other factors. I shall come back with other videos to expatiate on drivers of poverty. But for now, let our government look at inflation so that we can have a decent life and think of getting out of poverty accordingly. Thank you for watching.